Hello, all, and welcome to another wellness seminar. I am Jillian Singleton. I am the engagement manager here for CTA. I apologize for Coach Travis not being here today. He is not feeling well, so we wanted to ensure that your questions were still answered and being able to give you some information for Physical Fitness Month. And we do plan to have the coaches on the platform in the near future, and we'll definitely let you all know when that happens. So hopefully I can do a good enough job to fill in for Coach Travis. I know he's great. So thank you guys for joining. Wanted to give you a little background about myself. Again, my name is Jillian. My current role here is the Wellness Engagement Manager for CTA. I have been in corporate wellness for a few years now and definitely enjoy it. Previously to being in corporate wellness, I have a bachelor's degree in exercise science, a master's degree in exercise physiologist. I started off my career right out of college as a personal trainer and a fitness manager for some big corporate gyms. I also am an exercise physiologist and worked a lot in the clinical sector doing exercise prescription, exercise testing, weight loss. And currently, I still teach as a health science professor at Chicago State University and Moraine Valley Community College and teach adjunct part time. So definitely love wellness, science, exercise, all of that. So hopefully, I can bring some insight to you all today. A little bit about my fitness background. I definitely enjoy creating fitness programs for all types of demographics. I am an earth sign, so I love doing outdoor activities and just working out outside and doing some interval training. So that's usually what I choose to do for exercise. And I know there's tons of things to do that we'll learn about today. And yeah, so thank you. A little bit about myself, and we'll kind of dive in to some information. So, since it is Physical Fitness Month, we just want to kind of reiterate why is it important to exercise? What's the importance of fitness? So, first and foremost, fitness is going to not only improve your physical health, so help with muscle building, help with weight loss, help with balance, stability, things like that. But fitness also helps with your mental health. We, release endorphins when we exercise. It helps decrease stress. It helps clear our mind, and just as a big stress relief. So people use exercise as a stress relief as well to keep them healthy. Exercise also can help increase your energy levels. I know it seems kind of silly because some people are like, I don't even feel like working out. How is that going to increase my fitness levels? But it will help you sleep better, which will help you more energized throughout the day. And also, the more physically fit we are, the less tired we'll be because our endurance will increase. So, in turn, physical activity will help increase with your energy levels. Also, active fitness increases your self confidence, and of course, just aesthetically how we look. If we are, like how our bodies look, it'll help our self confidence, but also to just our confidence in the gym. If we exercise and are pretty comfortable using the equipment in the gym or getting on the elliptical, that will help our confidence in the gym. If we're getting older, and sometimes with age, balance and stability sometimes suffers, and if we can perform activities without feeling unstable or unsteady, that will help. And lastly, fitness will help with reduce stress. So it is a stress reliever, and it will definitely help with a lot of mental health issues that we might have. So, one big thing about fitness, people always want to know, how do I get started? Where, I want to exercise, but there's just so many barriers, or I don't know what to do. So, we want to talk a little about goal setting. So, before we start any exercise program, it is important to just ask yourself, like, what do you want to achieve? What are some of your fitness goals? So, it can be, the big ones, like I want to lose weight, or I want to gain muscle, but it also can be I want to improve my flexibility. I want to be able to walk without pain, or I want to pick up something new like karate or cycling that that might be interesting to you. So what is it that you want to achieve? The second, I think, is actually the most important, is the why, because we do things most consistently when we are it is resonates or when it's important to us. So what's your why for exercise? Is it because you have a family history of hypertension and you don't want to, have that? Is it because, you had previous injuries and you want to decrease those injuries or not get injured again? Is it because you have a wedding coming up and you want to lose 15 pounds before your wedding? What is the reason behind it? And those two things are a good starting point of coming up with some type of fitness program. I know a lot of us have probably heard of this SMART goal acronym before. So SMART stands for specific. So have specific goals. If your goal is to increase your endurance, then, I want to be able to run a mile in less than 10 minutes, or I want to be able to run around the block without stopping, or, play volleyball without having pain in my knee. Measurable. So it has to be kind of like I said before, the specific kind of goes hand in hand. How can we measure this goals? What's our starting point? So if I want to be able to run a mile in less than 10 minutes, right now I'm at 12. So my measures to try to shave it by 2 minutes, and make sure it's achievable. If we kind of keep with the running, example, being able to run a mile in less than 4 minutes, probably not realistic or achievable, because most humans can't do that at all. I think the fastest is like a little over 5. So is it achievable? The R stands for relevant or realistic. So how is it realistic or relevant for your life? Maybe, balance. I had an injury in my knee, and so I want to be able to, that's why it's important to me. Or like I said, health concerns, or, how do we tie that in? And then finally, T is time. We always want to give ourselves a timetable, because we want to be able to track these goals. And then if we just have an arbitrary number, then we might not be able to stay on track. So keeping that timetable helps keep us on track. So 3 things to start for setting goals is ask yourself, why do I want to achieve this goal? Why is it important to me? And then come up with some SMART goals that align with your aspirations. So as designing a fitness program, we want to create a balanced routine. When you hear the term fitness, there's many dimensions of fitness. So the dimensions of fitness are things like muscular endurance, cardiovascular health, flexibility, strength. So you want to be well-rounded, balanced. So you want to be able to do things. You don't want to be one-dimensional. So, for example, just running is great, but you are missing out on improving your strength, your flexibility, and your balance. So you want to do a variety of exercises. Same thing with strength training. There's some people who go to the gym and they only lift weights, which is great. That's will help with your muscles, building muscle. It'll help with your aesthetics. It'll help with strength. But if you're only strength training, then you are not working your heart muscle and your cardiovascular. So you might suffer more in that. So the biggest takeaway is just being balanced across. And if you never do flexibility or balance training, then you might be more prone for injury, because we're not very strong in those. So aiming to do a variety of exercises throughout the week is key. The American College of Sports Medicine recommends doing 150 minutes of exercise per week. So you can break that down to whatever is suitable for you. So if we want to do 3 days a week for 5 days a week for 30 minutes, that will get your 150 minutes. If you want to do 50 minutes a day, but only work out 3 days a week, you'll still get your 150 minutes. So 150 minutes of exercise is the recommendation according to the American College of Sports Medicine. Kind of tying into the exercise minutes and daily routine, you want to build that into how it fits in your day. you know, find ways to kind of sneak exercise in. Of course, you want to have like a planned time, but also too, if having 10-minute walking breaks is how you can get your 30 minutes in for the day, that's perfect. You're still getting that time in. Taking the stairs will help kind of get some extra minutes in to burn calories and help with your fitness towards your fitness goals. So you can always break up exercise into shorter sessions if needed. And then lastly, this kind of ties in with tracking your progress and making those goals is to write it down. Make a fitness plan. If you're looking to lose weight, write down your weight. Every Monday of each week, write down what your weight is. Or if you are looking to build strength, kind of have a progression where this week I'm gonna, when I'm doing bicep curls, I'm gonna do 15 pounds, and in 3 weeks I'm gonna increase to 20 pounds, and so you can kind of see your progress and also to hold yourself accountable. So you hear this a lot, people saying, I don't feel like it, I don't have motivation. And I kind of always try to revert back to being disciplined versus motivation. Um, Sometimes, motivation kind of waxes and wanes depending on our feelings. So if we're tired, if we don't feel like it, if we read something, an email at work that kind of made us upset or anything like that, that might kind of make us lack motivation. But if we're disciplined, then being disciplined is something that you kind of hold yourself accountable to, and creating that priority to exercise. So the more disciplined you are, the more you can kind of stay motivated. So staying motivated will help kind of with setting smaller goals. So, if you want to lose 40 pounds, start with losing two. And then, every 2 pounds, you're kind of ticking off a way to get to that 40-pound mark. It will kind of help relieve any discouragement, and also to reward yourself when you have those short milestones. If I lose 10 pounds, I'm gonna buy myself a new pair of gym shoes. And then you'll start seeing those smaller goals turn into your larger fitness goals. I kind of talked about rewarding yourself. I always recommend, I like shopping. So most of my rewards are going to come from buying some either clothes or shoes or jewelry or something like that. But whatever you like, I just kind of recommend maybe not rewarding yourself with food. You can, sometimes if I ate really well, I reward myself with pizza, but try not to. Reward yourself with something that is, not food related, maybe, and just so you can still stay on track with your goals, but we're not always using food as a reward. And then finally, have some friends or accountability partners. Text your friends, hey guys, I really am, trying to build muscle. And maybe, when you go out to eat, though, you have those friends who are reminding you to add protein to your food. If we're, just eating a lot of carbs and other things, or have those friends that workout friends, or there's a lot of technology too. If for smartphones, and even on our Move Springs app, you can kind of add friends that can kind of see your progress. Those are usually what's going to keep us and hold us accountable. Is that support system that we have, and then having like-minded friends. Friends or people around you that are health conscious. It's really hard to stay with your fitness goals if you are only surrounded with people who never exercise or don't really eat healthy. That can kind of make a little bit more barriers. So definitely try to have a support system and be around like-minded people when it comes to fitness and wellness. So we all run into barriers and obstacles. So we want to anticipate that. None of us are perfect. We are gonna, fall off. We are gonna have rough weeks. And my first suggestion that always comes to mind is fitness is a journey. We ideally should be working out the rest of our lives. So if we have a week or two where we haven't exercised, that's great. Let's start back next week. So always know that you can start again. And and just because you fell off doesn't mean you're always starting over. You're just starting from where you left off at. Any barriers that you might have, or, anticipate them and know that it is okay to take breaks and it is okay to fall off per se. We just want to make sure that we, jump back on that horse as soon as we can. Develop strategies that overcome. So, and adjusting your schedule. So if you are not a morning person, exercising in the morning probably is not the best time for you to work out, because you have that, pull between, I don't even feel like waking up in general, and now you want me to go do some work and work out. That's just two barriers you have to overcome in the morning. So, try to find a time that makes the most sense for you. And then, know yourself. If you are a person who, needs accountability, maybe seeking a trainer or going to a workout class that that it is a specific time that you guys have to be able to work out. One second. Camera, am I in? Sorry about that. We wanted to make sure we were still on camera. Okay. All right. And then lastly, maintain a positive mindset. So, try to remember that setbacks are going to happen. There's never a bad workout. Anything that you're doing for your body, any movement is definitely going to have some benefits, and your body's going to appreciate it. So definitely give yourself grace. All right. So before I go into some of the questions that you guys submitted, just wanted to give you all the opportunity to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have our wonderful coaches, Coach Travis, who is a personal trainer, and he delivers videos every Monday on our YouTube channel. They're fitness related videos with fitness tips, workouts, circuits, things like that. And those will be every Monday. And then every Thursday, our life coach, Johannes, delivers a Thoughtful Thursday video. And those are more on mindfulness, tips, and mental health. So you can scan that QR code and you can subscribe and you won't miss a video. So please join us. There's some great content on there for you guys to be able to follow along with. Coach Travis also has a live workout session on July 31st at 12 o'clock. This will be a stretching and flexibility session. So definitely will help with that flexibility dimension of physical fitness. And I know many of you guys have probably been participating in our Let's Get Moving campaign. So this would be a great opportunity to stretch out from doing all that increased activity. If you cannot make it at 12 o'clock, no problem. Just scan the QR code. You can register for it. And then at the conclusion of the session, we will send you all a recording of it. So you can still be able to participate either live or watching it at a later time. And this is another one of our activities that you can record for Motivate Me. So this counts as a Motivate Me activity. So you guys can get credit for that as well. All righty. So now I'll go into our question part. We had some great questions come up. I'm going to try to address them all. There were a few repeats, so I can kind of see where you guys' head is. A lot of people are kind of interested in the same things, which is cool. So one of the first questions, and a very common question that comes up, is how long should I work out for? So we kind of went over that a little bit of how long should you work out for. So ideally, remember we said about 150 minutes a week of moderate activity was what you want to aim for. So, people usually break that down into 3 days a week or 5 days a week of exercise. And to get those minutes in, I would, recommend, having a variety. So having some days where it's a cardio day or strength training, and then also including that balance and flexibility. A question that ties into this one is how long should we stretch for? So that's really on an individual level. I would say, some people, and which is beneficial, like to stretch daily, maybe like when they first wake up or before they go to bed, maybe like 5 minutes of stretching. And that will be good. Some people, they want to stretch after they work out and stretch those muscle groups that they just hit during their workout. some people after their workout, they're ready to be done. So they just want to wait till later. So I would say ideally stretching about 3 to 5 days a week is ideal. Also, a couple of reminders when stretching: always hold a stretch for a minimum of 20 seconds. That usually is the time for your muscles to relax and to release. Um, Anything less than that, it doesn't really give those muscle fibers that time to kind of to release. So always hold a stretch for a minimum of 20 seconds. You can stretch whenever it's kind of convenient. Stretching, the cool thing about stretching is, you can do 2 stretches, real quick if you have some tightness. But if it's a planned type of stretching session, then I would say at least 5 minutes is great and sufficient enough. All right. Next question: how to lose stomach fat? And there's a couple, but how to lose stomach fat, how to shrink your gut, and best exercises or best exercises for your abs. So I'm going to show you one screen, actually this one, and kind of go over the abdominal cavity initially. So as we can see, there are 4 different regions of the abdominal cavity, and the yellow is where you'll see what we call like your rectus abdominis. These are your abdominal muscles that are usually more like pertinent, that you can really see. So when someone kind of has a 6-pack or a 4-pack or things like that, those are the muscles that we're seeing. And those are right underneath our chest cavity. And those muscles really help us just to sit up and to get up from a lying position. So when you're doing sit-ups, those are the muscles that you're targeting right there in the yellow. If you look directly below in the blue, those are also your rectus abdominis, but that's your lower region, or like more like your lower abs. Those muscles are going to help more like lift your legs up, and help when you're sitting with like posture. So whenever you do like leg lifts or things like that, anything lower body, you're going to mostly hit that lower region of your rectus abdominis. We also have your obliques. So those are the sides of your abdominal cavity. Obliques are the muscles that help us bend side to side or rotate. And then up in that corner, right underneath like the sides of your chest, those are called your serratus muscles. And those are muscles that really help with like the diaphragm with breathing, but also too with that rotation and bending. So now that we can kind of see all the aspects of the abdominal cavity, the first part of the question was, how do I lose stomach fat? So I would say your abdominal is just like any other muscle. In order to see abs, in order to slim down, we have to decrease our fat in our body, or body fat percentage. Now, unfortunately, we can't spot reduce. So it's hard for us to say, you know what, body, can we just lose fat in my triceps or my abs and not anywhere else? So a couple of things. In order to have your stomach smaller is to focus on your diet. Our major organ that's in that cavity is our is our stomach. So by eating foods that are low in fat, by eating foods that make you feel fuller longer, like fiber, that helps with prevent overeating. That will help. Also try decreasing drinks and foods that promote bloating. So carbonated drinks make you look a little more bloated, or wheat sometimes, or dairy, depending on how your body responds to it. Foods that make you bloat are going to make that region look a little bigger. And then when it turns to exercise, just doing a variety of movements for your abs. So doing things like side bends, doing, crunches. Crunches are great, but again, crunches are just going to hit that yellow area. So leg lifts, twists. There's a ton of exercises that you can also do standing. We use our abdominal muscles all day by rotating, bending. So, you don't always have to feel that you have to just lay on your back to do abdominal muscles, but I wouldn't neglect them. Just like we like doing bicep curls, abs are also important. They say that abdominal exercises are the exercises that you can do daily. A lot of times, they recommend alternating muscle groups when you're doing strength training, like do legs one day, arms one day, but your abs you can work every day. So two suggestions I would add is doing a variety of abdominal exercises, and also to just being conscious of your diet with low fat foods and foods that are not causing bloating. Next question. What is the best time of day to work out? So I think that is very individualized. I would say a couple things. Find the time that's most convenient for you, that you have the most free time. So if you have pretty, chill mornings and, afternoons, or when the kids come home and we're doing homework and dinner, then maybe the mornings are best for you. What's convenient and what's realistic? Also, too, everyone has different peak energy level times. You see some people, they're like so chipper in the morning, and you're like, oh my God, how do they have so much energy? And there's some people who are just like slow to warm up, and maybe by like 12 o'clock noon, they have more energy. And then you have those people who are night owls who, during the day they're kind of dragging, but they can stay up. They're most energized at nighttime. So knowing yourself, when do you feel the most energized? I'm typically like between a 10 and 2 type of person. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is when I'm kind of hitting my peak. So that's usually when I try to work out. So in the middle of the day where I know I have the most energy, it's a good time for me to take a break from work and get up from the computer. So that works best for me. I'm not a morning person, so waking up at 5 a.m. sounds awful. So I'm probably going to sleep through that most of the time. So what's most convenient and realistic for your schedule, but also too, when do you have your peak energy levels that you can be most efficient during your workout? All right, next question. What is the best low impact exercise for weight loss? Um, there's many, but I would say initially, like the best low impact exercise for weight loss would be walking. Walking doesn't have a lot of that hard pounding on your knee. It's a physical activity that we do, normally, and you're using some of your major muscle groups like your legs. So walking is a great low impact, and you can burn a good amount of calories from walking. Also, too, yoga is great. Now, it's good for flexibility, but sometimes we think of yoga as like just sitting there meditating, but there's a lot of different yoga classes that you can take that are a little bit more, faster pace, that you can burn some calories, but you won't have that like jumping and pounding on your knees or back. And I would also say just trying to work with a professional if you have any limitations that can help be able to design a workout that is great for you. So contacting Coach Travis would be great, and depending on what your injuries or limitations are, then you can have a more personally designed workout. Next question, and there's two questions, they're kind of very similar. One is, what are good exercises for your heart, and what are some things that can help with hypertension? So they kind of go hand in hand. So we'll start with heart. So that's the aerobic part of your workout. So cardio, swimming, walking, anything that is continuous movement, that is going to be good. So cardio is something that we're going to do continuously for that duration. So I would say cardio, walking and swimming, or jogging, elliptical, things like that are the best workouts for heart health. Now, strength training is really good for building your muscles and building your aesthetics and things like that. But when it comes to a lot of releasing a lot of like comorbidities and health concerns, cardiovascular exercises are the best for that. And I'll kind of tie that into the hypertension part. So when hypertension develops in the arteries of our body and our hearts. So what happens is usually when someone has high blood pressure, it's because they have plaque that is developing on their arteries, which makes their arteries become more stiff and they narrow, so it's harder for blood to get through. And so the reason why cardio is so important when it comes to hypertension is because when we are doing cardio exercise, our heart's beating pretty fast. And so we have that strong stroke of blood volume that's coming through our arteries. And when that happens, it helps clean out the arterial walls. And I always use the kind of the example of a faucet. So if we have kind of food in the sink, right? And if we turn the water on all the way and pretty hard, it's going to clean the food out the sink, because that pressure of the waters is going to help kind of disperse all the food that's in the sink. But if you just kind of, if you have food in your sink and you just kind of drip the faucet, it's not going to really clean out the food. It's just going to kind of sit there because it's not strong enough. So having that strong heartbeat and the strong blood pressure go through while you're doing exercise helps kind of make plaque not be able to kind of sit there and harden your arteries. So to prevent hypertension, I would say definitely do workout to exercise, but specifically cardio is going to help, because it's going to clean out your arteries and help make sure you have healthy arteries. And also to diet helps prevent hypertension. So if we eat foods that are higher in cholesterol, when it is digested, cholesterol is sticky. So cholesterol kind of sticks to our arterial walls. And so that's what also creates kind of like our arteries to narrow. And lastly, smoking increases hypertension. When you smoke, it also creates that stickiness in your arterial walls. It also, too, smoking, we have something called cilia, which is kind of like a broom that's in our body. And so smoking kind of makes those little fibers that are kind of help sweep things out. They kind of burn those off. So smoking will increase hypertension. So diet, exercise, and preventing from smoking are three things that will kind of help with hypertension. And the last question on here is, how can I start my journey? And I would recommend, kind of like what I said earlier, is just kind of have like a sit down with yourself and determine, what you want to, what are some of your fitness goals? Make them, like I said, specific, make them realistic, make them obtainable. Start with something small. I want to start exercising 3 days a week or 2 days a week. And then to develop a realistic time and put it in your schedule. If we just say, I want to work out today, there's so many other things that we can kind of trump and over our workout, and you realize I keep putting things, I have to do laundry now, and maybe I should do the dishes, and maybe I should do that, and then now you look up and it's 8 p.m. So make an appointment with it. I work out every day at 3:30, and so that's on your calendar. You have a set time designated for it, and you can kind of plan it into your day. And then lastly, I would say is, if you ever feel like you fall off the wagon, always just start again. Fitness is a journey, and like, Lord willing, we want to work out the rest of our lives. So if you have a bad week or a month, or even if you haven't exercised in 2 years, it's never too late to start doing some kind of activity and having the benefits of it. I did want to show 2 other slides before I open up to Q&A, just to kind of help as a reference. So this right here, I'm pretty sure most of you guys have seen this, is the food pyramid. So this just illustrates how many servings we should have, like, in a day of different things. So we'll start at the bottom. So our carbohydrate group. So this includes like bread, cereal, pasta, things like that. 6 to 11 total. So for example, if we have, oatmeal in the morning, and then maybe a sandwich at lunch and some chips, that's 3 servings already. So 6 is 11 total. Fruits and vegetables, we want to have between 4 to 6 servings. So this can be like blueberries in your oatmeal. That's 1. A salad, you might have 3 different vegetables. That might be a couple, and then an apple later. So fruits and vegetables, about try to, I would say, at least 5 minimum of those. And then 2 to 3 servings of meat, poultry, fish, dairy, and then our uh, dairy group, like I said, milk and cheese, 2 to 3 servings of that. And then all fats, oils, and sweets sparingly. So, you know, I would always use a rule of thumb, like one thing sweet a day. So we don't necessarily need to have dessert after every meal. Some people want to have a dessert after lunch or dessert after dinner. Maybe map that into your day in order to have that sparingly with fats, oils, and sweets. There's 2 resources that are beneficial. I have one on here, which is called My Plate. This is kind of like a good overall how to kind of organize your plate. So as we can see, mostly vegetables, protein, and then in grains. So kind of how to divide your plate. Also, you can type this in MyFitnessPal in there. MyFitnessPal is a great app to use that you can plug in all of your food for the day, and it'll break down how many calories you eaten, your macronutrients, your macros like your carbs, proteins, fats, where you are percentage wise on that. You can also put in a goal, like how many pounds you want to lose a week, or how many pounds you want to gain a week, or your fitness goals, and it'll give you daily recommendations of what percentage of certain food groups you should be eating. Awesome. All right, so now I will open it up to some questions or comments that you guys might have. So feel free to either unmute yourselves and ask a question, or you can type it into the chat, which I see that there's a whole bunch. No. Oh, this is just you. Okay, sorry. You can type it into the chat and we can answer it. So we'll open it up now. No worries. Thank you, Christina, for that. MyFitnessPal is in there as well. Any questions or comments or anything? Maybe if you guys want to put in what you guys do for exercise, that'll be great too. Sometimes it's good to have different ideas. And some people do some cool things. So what do you guys do for exercise? Kickboxing. Yes, kickboxing is such a great workout. It's great cardio, and definitely, like you said, it's a great stress reliever for sure. Yeah, kickboxing is awesome. What else do you guys do? I know like now is a good play basketball. Yeah. I always say there's like being in shape, and then there's like basketball shape. And that's a whole nother level of like the cutting and sprinting and stuff. So basketball is awesome workout, and it's a lot of fun too. Thank you. Anybody else want to share what they do for exercise? Cool. Next question. How many days a week do you guys usually are you able, what's realistic for you guys? Stairmaster. Oh, I love the Stairmaster. That kicks your butt. How many days a week do you guys typically exercise? 4 days? Good. 5 to 6. Perfect. So you guys are really already doing a lot um, of the recommendations for sure. Walking, Stairmaster. Awesome. Perfect. Good. Well, you're in the right place. We're going to start. Awesome. Okay. So I am going to put my email address in here, or the wellness email address in here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to email the wellness team. Also, I'm going to put in the coaches email address. So if you guys want any exercise programming or questions or things like that, you can definitely reach out to Coach Travis. It's just wellnesscoach@traderchicago.com. And then lastly, for those who have My Cigna insurance, this activity or this seminar today qualifies as a Motivate Me activity. So if you guys go to mycigna.com and then log in, go to wellness, and then scroll down to self-reporting. You can just put in the date of this activity and you'll be able to get credit for the Motivate Me program. Perfect. Christina's going to put in the Motivate Me link in really quick. And we'll get started. Okay. Well, thank you guys all for joining again today. I hope that you guys found this beneficial. And I really appreciate you guys and your time and your feedback and submitting questions. Again, please reach out if you have any more questions, and be on the lookout for our next seminar that has our fitness coaches and our life coach on there. So thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.